Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you here once again to Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada for the 8th race of the X2 series for XRL. I'm joined in the booth here today with Boothy, and we are going to be watching as the best X2 drivers available will be coming here today to Canada to put on an incredible race. At least I anticipate it will be an incredible race because the few times I've watched these guys before, they always put on a wonderful show. So going in, as we look very quickly at the team and driver setup, we're still waiting on a few people to show up, but we're looking right now in the Mercedes team with XRL Hutch and Jay Bascom going to be leading off the Mercedes factory team. Scuderia Ferrari will be represented by XRL Oli and Deadgar 1988. Aston Martin Red Bull will have XRL Fiend and XRL Zola in there. McLaren will find XRL Anderson, and Beard Boost will be leading that team. Renault will be led by Hazel and Mene Sasha, or I will just call him Sasha. Scuderia AlphaTauri will have Sasha Andre and Yzuder 85. The Racing Point team will have Flying Wallaby and JL Bend. Williams will be led with Smoothie 25 and XRL Low. Haas with Joe Pelly and BRL Phantom. Alfa Romeo has CJ Allen. The second driver, it says Antonio Giovinazzi. I don't know if the second driver is actually going to be showing up for this or not. So stand by for just a little bit as I want to take care of some real quick things right now on the side. So here we are, that's up. So anyways, here we are, we're going to be going into our race here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. So Boothy, thank you very much for joining us. Make sure your audio is included. I'm curious, what do you think is going to be the optimum strategy for today's race? You heard it here, folks. Yeah. Well, you heard it here, folks. Medium to soft tire compounds. So, with that in mind, a medium to soft tire compound definitely would be an interesting way to start the race off, especially if you start farther back. You can afford to run in the middle of the pack for a little bit longer. The tires would be able to hold up to the wear. The only potential issue with it, like there would be with any strategy, there is no strategy that would be bulletproof. The only issue with that would be that you'd really have to squeeze out every bit of ability out of those tires. You could be running the risk of running some really harsh worn tires at the end of the stints. But either way, I anticipate it will be a very interesting race. We now have all of our drivers here, and our last Alfa Romeo driver is Ryan Hurricane. He will be in the Alfa Romeo along with CJ Allen. Real quickly, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the points scenario as they stand right now for X2. So here we are. When it comes to this, Beard Boost is walking off with the championship in X2 right now in the McLaren, and it's a McLaren 1-2 in the Drivers' Championship. Beard Boost has 175 points with XRL Anderson at 62 points. TOTD 90 Liam is at 59 points, just 3 points out from Anderson. Then Allen has 39 points, so it's another massive gap from 3rd to 4th in the points. 1 point behind Allen is Joe Pelly. He's 5th in the Haas machine. XRL Hutch and XRL Low have 34 and 31 points respectively, with XRL Asmo being 6 points out from Low, and he's 5 points ahead of Rimsco. Rim is at 20 points. He is 1 point ahead of our 10th place driver in points, who is Yzuder. That's 19 points. Jay Baston has 17 points, as does ES Fiend. Smooth E25 has 16 points. XRL Zola has 13. Mr. Shmee has 12. Deadgar 1988 has 6, JL Ben has 1, BRL Phantom has 1 point, and XRL Pingu has no points going into this race. So, for the drivers at the front, I'm going to be honest, it looks like Beard Boost is well on his way to locking up an early championship here. But for everyone from about 4th on back, the points battle could still go basically any way, and there's going to be more than likely a good battle for points between Anderson and Liam for 2nd and 3rd. So this could get very interesting. First things first, obviously, we need to go through qualifying. Q1, Q2, Q3, the 3 qualifying sessions are in full length. The first qualifying session is going to be about 18 minutes long, where ultimately drivers get onto the circuit and do whatever they can to get into Q2. The top 15 fastest drivers will advance into Q2, and it looks like we have a cloudy sky. Not sure if we're going to have rain, but we definitely have a cloudy sky, so temperatures on the track will be a little lower. But as I was saying, the top 15 fastest drivers will automatically progress into Q2. In Q2, drivers will end up deciding what tire compound they're going to start the race on, and the top 10 fastest in Q2 then progress to Q3. The top 10 fastest in Q3 then do their own little shootout for the pole. So that's going to be very, very interesting. I'm not crazy about the way Formula 1 sets up their qualifying sessions, but it works out very, very well for the XRL drivers. We see a lot of really interesting and intriguing decisions and things being pulled out here. No one seems to have left pit lane yet, though, and as I say that, it looks like, I believe that's out of the Renault team. That's either Hazel or Minna Sasha. Yes, it is. So Sasha is going to be the first driver to be coming out onto the track here, and he's going to lead a very, very small train out behind him. So here we are. Sasha already on his outlap. And we'll start seeing the other drivers start coming out. There you are, Sasha Andre. The other Sasha is now out there on track, as is XRL Anderson here. And there we see one of the Red Bulls. I believe that is XRL Fiend or Zola. It's either Fiend or Zola. I can't really tell. But they are now on their way out on the circuit. But here we are. Sasha Andre is out. Going down through Sector 2 right now. Got the RS open. First lap, per usual, is just that warm-up lap, and Sasha cuts the circuit real badly. He will go ahead and let the McLaren of XRL Anderson go by, so Anderson will have a much more cleaner track ahead of him. But here is Sasha, who has come out of the hairpin. He will be the first driver to put down lap time here today. Rain down, well, assuming he doesn't invalidate his first lap, he will be first one. Rain down that nice lawn final straightaway, real quick flick through the Wall of Champions chicane, and his first lap begins now. Here's Ryan Hurricane, the Alfa Romeos. He is now running through chicanes on the run down to the hairpin corner. Looks like looks like we have 7 drivers who are still in pit lane right now. They have not yet left pit road, although I imagine that will probably change sooner rather than later. XRL Low and Beard Boost are current points leader and likely to be X2 Series champion, and are 2 of the drivers who have not yet left. CJ Allen hasn't started his first lap, but he invalidated it immediately. I wonder if he may have cut the chicane at the Wall of Champions on the run down to the start-finish line. If so, that would automatically invalidate the lap. This is Sasha, though. He has come out of the hairpin, and he will be the first driver to put down a lap time. DRS zone is open. Now that final chicane at the Wall of Champions, no problem. And the first time up on the board for X2 drivers is a 110.765. So immediately we get right into the 110 range, and XRL Anderson ends up besting that by a significant amount in the McLaren 110.146. So very nicely done there. Sasha Andre has gone ahead and pulled out. He is not comfortable, and there's Beard Boost on the other hand, who is now leaving the pit lane. Meanwhile, a little bit farther back, here's Ryan Hurricane. He's going to be saying his first flying lap as he's coming down here. His lap is still clean in X3. A little bit in qualifying and real extremely in the race. We saw a lot of drivers get invalidated laps simply by cutting the circuit. Here we are, Hurricane, first lap time, 110.276. He will be joined just a little bit behind him with Dedger 1988 with a 110.396. So it looks like 110s are the goal to get right away, with Joe Pelling now at the top, 110.033. It's very likely that we will see somebody hit the 109 mark very early here, like we did in the X3 race earlier. Hazel has pulled over just a little bit, running a little slow here at the start of Sector 1. He's pulling over to let one of the Haas's by. I believe that one was BRL Phantom who went by there. Phantom has already set his first lap time. He is 110.519 at the moment, and there you go. Flying Wallaby in that pink Force India Racing Point Mercedes-powered car has gone below the 110 flat mark. He has a 109.515, so very, very dominant lap time early on. I'll be curious to see if other drivers like Beard Boost will be able to match that time as we go forward here. XRL Ollie has invalidated his lap. He's on his second lap, and neither of his laps thus far have been legal. CJ Allen is coming down, and he's also done the exact same thing, invalidated 2 laps straight. So he's got this one clean. If he can stay out and make it work, he might be able to make something happen. Runs a little wide, almost hits one of the X-Team Mercedes. That is Jabus John, who is coming out of the pits right now as he is beginning his run to spool up the turbos and get everything going for his own fast lap. XRL Fiend and Smoothie25 both have yet to leave the pits, as does XRL Low. XRL Hutch has left the pits. He is on his own out lap in the Mercedes as well. So the Mercedes team both exiting a little bit later in the session than everyone else. Jelly Bend has not left yet. And here's Hazel, who is on his first flying lap. It'll be interesting to see if he can do something as he taps the outside wall there, just the slightest amount. Hopefully it doesn't hurt him. Apparently not. He has got a purple Sector 1. And he now enters the back straightaway. DRS opens up. He is flying a little bit farther back. Here's Sasha Andre. He has not yet set his lap time. He was out there earlier, put down an initial lap, and Beard Boost, forget the 109 barrier. He is in the 108.814 for Beard Boost. So immediately, right off the bat, Beard Boost putting on some power here. Anyways, as I was saying, here's Sasha Andre, who is now on the run down into the hairpin. A little bit ahead of him, though, here is Hazel. He's on the rundown. Minea Shasha has put down his first lap, 110.582. But he has yet to set down a lap. Here's Hazel and the other Renault at the line. Hazel will put down a lap time of 109.586. That's good enough to put him into 5th at the moment here. And I believe that is BRL Phantom coming by. He has invalidated this lap, so he will not improve on his time at the moment. But someone who will improve is Sasha Andre. He goes up to a 109.604. Very, very good job there. Here is XRL Hutch. He's going to complete his first lap, but his lap has been invalidated, so it's very, very clear here that keeping within the F1 2020 track limits has been a pain in the today for a lot of these drivers here. Here's XRL Ollie. He is and Smoothie25 has pulled off as well. He goes through the dirt for a little bit. Hopefully didn't get too much grass and dirt on the tires that can really upset its ability to get going. Ollie is back on an outlap again after the damage that you mentioned earlier. He's still on those same soft tire compounds. It was just jump in, throw on a new front wing, and get going again. But he's really only going to have 1, maybe 2 laps to make this work. Otherwise, those tires will start getting really old really fast here. And here is XRL Hutch. He's still green. This will be his first lap, and it says CJ Allen has retired already. He has set down a lap time of 108.995. It's good enough for second. He's not going to push harder. At the line, Hutch, 2 laps in a row, invalidated. Absolute travesty. He just cannot seem to get it working, and it looks like this lap as well is going to be invalidated as well. So Hutch really is struggling just to try and keep a clean lap going. Here's Yale Ben. He will set a lap time, but it's the slowest one we have yet, 111.124, and just behind him on the track, XRL Fiend with a 111.010. So quite a range in times right now we're seeing in X2. A range of about 3 seconds. Actually, it's closer to 2.3 seconds, so I guess it's not as big as I was making it sound, but it's still quite a range. Weizuder has not yet left the pit, neither has Jabus John. Here's XRL Hutch. As I said, he's invalidated his current lap, so it's really, really not working for him right now. XRL Ollie is out there. He's on a flying lap, so hopefully he can keep it clean and keep it out of the wall of champions so he can put down his time. His teammate has already set down a time in the Scuderia Ferrari. Here is Smoothie25 as he is also going through the chicane and now going to the run on down. the hairpin corner. DRS is not open on this straightaway. There's just enough of a curve to make it not reasonable. Not to mention, there's the DRS zone right here on this nice long back straightaway. Running down, and now Javis John has begun his outlap. Wise Uter has not left the pit yet. XRL Hutch has come back into the pits, struggling really hard to try and make something happen here. And we now have 16 drivers who have set their lap time. Will Smoothie be the 17th? Coming to the line. Yes, he is. Smoothie is still a relatively slow time, 1:11.850. There's a lot to improve on with that thing. Here's Javis John. He's on his outlap right now. And right now, relatively clean track for the moment. There's only about 6 cars on the circuit at the moment. This is the moment where most of the field is going to all be in, trying to get new tires on. XRL is going to move over so that way the AlphaTauri is able to move by without too much of an issue. That was the AlphaTauri of Sasha Andre. He's currently 6th. He's on another outlap though, trying to make something happen. This here is XRL Ollie a little bit farther back. He has also gotten some cleaner track. Apparently he's had a relatively clean Sector 2, so he might be in position to improve this here on this lap. So the rundown, you can see one of the Ferraris up ahead, entering the pits. But here we are, nice flying through the World Champion chicane at the line. Ollie, 3rd on the timesheets, 109.397, but the gap between the top 2 and 3rd is borderline insurmountable at the moment, it would seem. And meanwhile, Wise Uter has gone in the pits, but XRL Hutch is now on his outlap, trying to see if he can set that lap time. And Javis John, he has invalidated his lap. He went out there, he set a lap, and invalidated it almost immediately. So, not looking good for Javis John or either of the Mercedes. Hutch has a little bit of a chance. He's on his outlap right now, and it's still clean at the moment. But the factory Mercedes team seems to be struggling early on here in qualifying 1. Here's Minea Sasha. He's on another outlap at the moment. Meanwhile, Smoothie 25, he's currently 12th on the timesheets. Nice camera angle. You can see the suspension flexing as he go around the hairpin. He's got a really fast Sector 2 there. He might be able to crack into the top 10 on the rundown. With 3 cars who have not yet set their time, Smoothie definitely wants to get as high up in the order as he can right now. Rundown, DRS. He's running it really, really tight when it comes to fuel, but at the line, will he improve? Smoothie, yes he does. Goes up to 8th, 110.007. So now the Ferraris of Dedger and Ryan Hurricane, not Dedger, it's Dedger and is going to end up falling down to 10th, and Ryan Hurricane, the Alfa Romeo, is going to be back there in 11th now. Here's XRL Hutch, meanwhile. He has yet to set his first lap time, but right now it's clean. If he doesn't make a mistake here at the World Champion chicane, he will have his first lap, and we will only have 2 drivers left who will have not set their time. Going through nice and clean, so at the line, XRL Hutch's new time in Q1 is going to be a 110.329. It's good enough for 12th at the moment. His teammate Javis John is now on an outlap. Wise Uter has not yet left the pits, though. I absolutely agree with you. There's not really much of a point to try and push too hard if you're in one of those higher positions, as opposed to the driver we're currently following, BRL Phantom. He's 14th. He's just on the area where he needs to find some improvement. Otherwise, he might get cut. It's really, really close for him and Minea Sasha behind him. Ooh, Phantom just briefly taps the outside wall there. Really, really aggressive. He is not afraid to utilize every bit of the track he can in that Haas machine. DRS open as he goes down that back straightaway. So another driver breaks the 110 barrier. It's a 109.945 for Minea Sasha. He's just about 3/10 off of our other Sasha Andre, who is currently staying in the pit lane. And that is one of the Racing Points has pulled in. I believe that was JL Benz who has Meanwhile, here's BRL Phantom. He is not going to continue. In fact, he is going to elect to come back in to the pits. He has 4 laps on those soft tires. That might be a good idea, but they're going to want to get on and swap them really quickly here. Now, meanwhile, Jabez John is coming down the run into the hairpin. He had a purple sector 2, and I saw a change there. I didn't see what the change was. But now Jabez John is putting the power down. DRS open on that nice final straightaway. It's the run down into and through the wall of championship chicane. This is where anything could go wrong. We saw a lot of drivers invalidate their laps there in the X3 race. Jabez John will put his time down, and his time is enough for 14th, 110.301. So him and his teammate XRL Hutch right now are just barely on the bare limit of getting in. XRL Zola, who's still out on the circuit and is on the back straightaway right now, is close enough that he could potentially knock Hutch out. He only needs to improve by about 15 thousandths if he wants to do so. For BRL Phantom, XRL Fiend, and Jailbin, they're going to need a lot more improvement than that. Improvement closer half a second or more in those cases. Beard Boost is now retired from the session. Both Beard Boost and CJ Allen are 2 fastest drivers. The only ones who have hit 108 so far in Q1 feel that there's no need to continue polluting the track with their presence. Not going to risk damaging the car. They're going to keep going and keep it going clean here. Gale Bend is on his outlap. Very smooth. He does get into the 110s, 110.516. The only problem was that's not good enough to get him into the top 15. Zola and Fiend are both on the outside looking in. This is his 2nd lap on the sauce, so if he's able to put things together, he might be able to make this lap work. And if not this one, if he's fast enough and doesn't make any mistakes, he might be able to get a 2nd lap in as well. A little bit close to kind of track limits there. I'm kind of impressed that the game didn't validate it then, considering how intensely strict it's been thus far. And Wise Uter has retired from the session, does not set a single lap time. I somewhat wonder if Wise Uter may have had a qualifying penalty from a prior event, and that may have been why he did not turn a lap. So Wise Uter officially will not make it in the next round. So it's the 2 Red Bulls, then this Haas here of BRL Phantom, and the Racing Point of JL Bend. They are the 4 drivers right now on the outside looking in. 40 seconds left in Q1. BRL Phantom is on an out lap, and he will have time to set 1 flying lap. He's at 110.519 right now. He needs to cut about 2 tenths off of that if he wants to make it into Q2 here. There's 10 seconds left. Can Jalebin get to the line fast enough to give himself 1 more lap? 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. He will. He will have 1 more lap. He only has a 111.124. He needs to take a lot of time out right now if he wants to do it, but he's got a chance. BRL Phantom. I don't think BRL Phantom's going to be able to make it work either. He's basically aborted his lap time. Here's XRL Zola. He is the last driver on the outside looking in as he rounds the hairpin corner. Can Zola move up? Dedger ends up being 14th as XRL Hutch was able to move up at the last minute into 13th with a 110.157. But Zola seems to be extremely slow on the backstretch, so it does not look like he's going to be able to do it. So will Jalebin be able to make this work? I don't imagine it's going to happen. It doesn't look like it's a very fast lap here. He's got to take off a second almost to make this work. Yep, so he is backed off. He is aborting. Yep. So Q1, the results are decided relatively early on. It is Wise Uter, who has not put a single lap time down, then Jalebin, BRL Phantom, XRL Fiend, and XRL Zola. Those are the drivers who will not make it into the next session. Here's XRL Hutch on the circuit. He is one of the drivers who did make it in the next section. So James John and XRL Hutch in the Mercedes both make it in by the skin of their teeth. Dedger 1988 in the Scuderia Ferrari. makes in as well, as does the McLaren of XRL Anderson. XRL Low and Smoothie 25 will also both make it in. Minea Sasha and the Renault will make it in. Ryan Hurricane makes it in. Now for Romeo, Sasha Andre squeezes his way in. Hazel on the Renault comes in. Joe Pelli has retired from the session. He also makes it in. He is 5th on the timesheets right now. Flying Wallaby, 4th in the timesheets. He makes it in. XRL Ollie and CJ Allen and Beard Boost also all make it in. So a relatively calm Q1 here. Not a whole lot of hard teeth-shattering moments. The biggest challenge was just getting clean laps in. The track limits around here are being kept very, very strict, as everyone can very plainly see with how many invalidated laps we had through there. Why possibly? I know the Scuderia Ferrari team in X3 didn't even attempt to make Q2. They just used Q3 as an attempt to run some practice laps. So here we are. As you can see, our lineup here. It's 2 Red Bulls, a Haas, a Racing Point, and AlphaTauri that will not make it in. Mercedes will make both of their cars in. Ferrari gets both of their cars in. McLaren's going to get their cars in. Williams gets both of their cars in. Renault's get both of their cars in. Alfa Romeo gets both of their cars in. AlphaTauri gets 1 car in. Racing Point gets... Yeah, so very, very quick turnover. That was a little quicker than what we had earlier. But yeah, it's going to be a very quick turnover into the qualifying 2 section. Only the top 15 drivers make it into the session. This is where it all comes down to tire choice. And it's really easy in the first half of the first, 7.5 minutes of the section to say, yeah, I set down a lap time I'm happy with on my mediums or my hards, if that's what you're going to start the race with. I feel confident with this. And then as other drivers start creeping up around you, you start freaking out. And you're like, oh God, I don't want to start at the back, in the middle to the back of the field. I don't want to do it. I want to make that into Q3. And then it starts getting a mind game. And before you know it, you can be throwing on softs, basically throwing caution to the wind and trying to make something happen on softs to get into Q3, possibly compromising race strategy. So you need to have a little bit of mental fitness and firmness when you come into this event here. So it looks like it's XRL Anderson will be one of the first drivers out. But the very first driver out on the circuit was XRL Low in the Williams, with Beard Boost and McLaren following shortly afterwards. So unlike earlier, Beard Boost not going to wait around. You'll get out there and probably set a really nice fast lap time early on in the session. Also, Dedger and Ollie and the 2 Scuderia Ferraris will both go ahead and get their laps going nice and early on. One of the Renaults, I believe that is Minea Sasha. Yes, that is. Minea Sasha will now enter onto the circuit, as will... I'm trying to see which Mercedes that is. That is XRL Hutch. In fact, Minea Sasha will move over, so Hutch has a little bit cleaner track ahead of him. With only 15 cars on circuit this time around, it's going to make it significantly easier to have cleaner laps in regards to sharing the track with other drivers, but that won't change track limits at all. Whoop. We're going to go ahead and ride on board with XRL Hutch for this next lap. Just totally silent so you can hear the car around here at Montreal. And that was a lap on board with XRL Hutch. He is third on the timesheets right now with the 111.426. Tapped the outside wall through the wall of champions, but not enough to really upset the car. Sasha, Lowe, and Oli are the 3 drivers ahead of him, with now Allen going to the top of the timesheets. In the Alfa Romeo, he has a 109.301. Right now, the top 5 times are all set on medium tire compounds. Now top 6. So Flying Wallaby is now going to go up to second, 109.723. Typically, Q2 times are a little bit slower than what you'll see in Q3 anyway. You'll see drivers working with more of a medium tire. Often you'll see them with medium tire compound in this session, so this could be interesting. Ryan Hurricane is the first driver to set a lap time on the soft tire compounds. He has moved up to 4th. He is running a 109.933. There's definitely enough time for him to maybe turn another lap on the softs and improve on that time. But of the top 9 drivers, all of them who have set lap times, 8 of them are setting times on mediums at the moment. XRL Anderson here, he's one of the few drivers on softs. He is currently on his outlap, as is Hazel, who's also starting his outlap. This is Dedger, who's playing in the pits, and Javis John has pulled over there in turn 2. He's going to let his teammate go ahead and get by XRL Hutch. Javis John is on his outlap, and here's Beard Boost, and this is the really weird thing from Beard Boost. He's already set 2 laps on the mediums. Neither of them are valid laps yet. That's not very normal from what we see from Beard Boost. He has now got the DRS open and shuts it back down, exiting the back straightaway. He has yet to set a lap time. I do believe he can do it. He definitely has the pace, but it would be crazy if something happened and he ended up not being able to set time. But I wouldn't worry too much. They're still over 9.5 minutes in session. He's got the DRS open here on the back straightaway. Looks like one of the Scuderia Ferraris are coming into the pits here. I think that was Dedger. But at the line, Beard Boost's got the DRS open, and he will set a lap time of 109.324, so not the fastest. It's the second fastest, but not the outright fastest at the moment. And again, only one driver has set a time thus far on softs. But that could change sooner rather than later, because Hazel and Anderson both are out there on soft tire compounds. Dedger has also migrated over to softs. And I take that back, actually, because Wallaby and Hurricane are both switching over to soft tire compounds. They seem to think they can do better and lock in their position in Q3 by going to the softs. XRLO is also doing the same thing. Anderson locks up just a little bit in the hairpin. He puts the power down. DRS is going to open up shortly. He's going to try and improve on this, try and put a lap time down here and get into the top 10. New time, going to the top in the soft tire compounds. Hazel, 109.244, so very, very solid job by that Renault machine. A bunch of drivers are now beginning their trek out of the pit lane. Not all at once, though, but it's happening, and it's happening very gradually. Minea Sasha is going to be one of the first ones who will come out. Dedger, 1988, meanwhile, he is the last driver to have not yet put a time down. He is on the run down into the hairpin here. He has a purple sector too, so he might be able to put a halfway decent time down. DRS opens on that last straightaway. Here we are, run down to the chicane at the Wall of Champions. DRS open. At the line, Dedger right up to 5th, 109.592. Very, very solid job, and everyone has now set a time, so now the rush is for Javis John, Minea Sasha, Hutch, Anderson, and Lowe to find a way to improve. Javis John is coming into the pits. He does not feel confident with the medium tire compounds. Like you said, Boothy, as this goes on, we'll see the slower drivers migrating into the softs to try and get that extra little bit of speed here. fact, right now it says that Davis John is the only driver who is not in the top 7 that has still committed to the mediums. It's interesting. I'm curious what the strategy might be there, because like you said, the gap between 15th and 7th is only about, it's just a little bit over a second. And wouldn't be, if you've got a really, really good lap, it might not be that hard to jump a bunch of positions right now. I'm currently following Sasha. He has a purple sector too, so he has got time up. He might be the first driver to start leapfrogging positions to try and get into the top 10. It's going to be close though. He's got DRS open on the back straightaway. Now he's going to go through the wall of champions. Coming down to the line, Manea Sasha, his new time is going to be 109.752, so he migrates immediately up into 8th position. And Ryan Hurricane, a little bit behind him, does a similar feat, 109.773, so he moves up into 9th right now. Everyone 10th on back is either in pit lane or on their initial outlaps at the moment. XRL Low is coming through as he is going to officially start his next lap right now. And XRL Hutch is on basically the complete opposite end of the circuit on the run down into the hairpin right now, so it'll be a little bit longer for him. Flying Wallaby is on another outlap on his end. He has invalidated this current lap, but I don't imagine it'll be too much of an issue as long as it doesn't invalidate his next lap. Wallaby is currently 7th on the timesheets. He wants to see if he can move up because he is just on the upper end of that roughly a second and some change range that's at the bottom end of the field. If a bunch of drivers below got some good lap times, he could find himself outside the top 10. But here he is. He's going to start running again, trying to see if he can improve. Sasha Andre is now on another outlap as well. And Joe Pelly is pulled over in Sector 1. Not going to get in the way of the Mercedes or a Flying Wallaby or the Williams there. He wants to make sure he has clean track ahead and behind him as he goes and sets his outlap. He is currently 10th on the timesheets right now. He would be the first driver to get knocked out, and this lap has been invalidated. But again, this is an outlap. He can afford to have this one invalidated. But the guy who can't afford it is XRL Low. This is a flying lap here, and it's already been invalidated. Will his next lap be good? His next lap is good, so he needs to make this lap work. There's just a bit over 3.5 minutes left in this session, so some time is still out there, but if you want to pit, the only chance you really have to pit is to do it now and get out immediately. Anderson has not yet left the pits. He is still 13th on the timesheets. Going down the back straightaway, this here is final straightaway. Here's XRL Hutch. He's a little bit behind Flying Wallaby here. Very nice and smooth through the wall of champions. And coming out of the line, Flying Wallaby moves up to 109.523, and Hutch, he does improve. He's up to 11th, 109.916. It's not enough, though, to get him into the top 10. Well, one thing's for sure, the predictions you made, Boothy, have absolutely come to pass. Only 4 drivers are still on the mediums. 4? Yeah, only 4 drivers are still on the mediums, and those 4 drivers on the mediums are all drivers who are in the top 8s in time. Everyone else is jumping on the softs, trying to eke out those extra little bits of performance to try and get into Q3. Joe Pelly has been knocked out now. He has fallen back to 11th, but he's got a purple sector 2. He might be able to climb his way back in the top 10. He's only 100th out from Ryan Hurricane's time right now, but Hurricane is on an outlap as well, so he may have to fight with Hurricane again later on. Hurricane will probably be able to set 1 lap before it's too late. Here we are. The Huss flies through the final corners. And coming down the line, Joe Pelly, who has now slipped to 12th. His new time is enough to put him to 5th, 109.458. And now Sasha Andre might want to start getting a little bit worried. He's 9th in the timesheets, but he's on the mediums, so there could be time he's giving up by not migrating onto the softs. Smoothie 25 has gone off there at Sector 2. He's in the grass, and there's no one behind him right now, so he will be safe. And Beard Boost is now officially retired from the session. he knows that basically the top three spots are probably locked in at the moment. It doesn't seem like the other drivers on the track will have what it takes to improve. Enough to get up to them, at least. Hutch moves over to let there be some clear track ahead of him. And Anderson is still on the track, but his first flying lap, very, very poor, very slow in almost every sector, honestly. I think this lap may be borderline invalidated, actually. Hazel is retired from the session as well. Didn't look super stable through the chicane at the Wall of Champions, but at the line, he improves just enough to knock Sasha off. So 109.622. Sasha is still in pit lane. He's put on the soft tire compound, but with only 13 seconds left, he's not going to have time to get out there and sell lap time. So Sasha is not going to advance into Q3 here. The time that Anderson needs to beat is Hurricane's time of 109.622. Anderson currently has a 110.496. It's going to be a massive change of nearly 9/10 that he needs to find. He could definitely do it, but it's going to be rough. He's on the rundown through the final straightaway. Oh, he's tapped the Wall of Champions. No, he does not. It's only a 110.3. It's not enough to improve. So Anderson pushes and pushes in the wall, and is not going to be able to migrate into the next session. So Minea Sasha, Smoothie 25, XRL Hutch, XRL Anderson, and Jabus John will be the 5 drivers who will not migrate into Q3. Another potential option is to try and put on the hard tire compounds and run hards for a good 20 laps, and then maybe jump onto mediums for a final 15 laps of the race as well. It would be a slower option, but if you're going to start mid-pack or mid to the back of the pack like Minea Sasha is, you can afford to run behind other drivers for a little bit longer and not have it cost your tire life as bad. So it would be a slower option, but it would be a slightly safer option as well for Minea Sasha. Well, 20 seconds left in Q2. Well, the session itself is over. It's the time remaining clock. We're waiting to have count down. But Hazel, CJ Allen, Beard Boost, XRL Ollie, Joe Pelly, XRL Loeb, Sasha Andre, Flying Wallaby, Deadguard 1988, Ryan Hurricane, Minea Sasha, Smoothie 25, XRL Hutch, all of them in the 109 range. Like, everyone in the top 13 spots were within 7/10 of each other. And honestly, if you, all you have to do is just, not to take away from them, but if you just took out Anderson and Jabus John from it in, the top 13 all separated by just 7/10. That's really, really impressive. Granted, some of that is probably messed around with it a bit with the likes of Beard Boost going ahead and running mediums instead of softs, but that really goes to show you how tightly packed the front end of the field is here in qualifying. And drivers like Minea Sasha, Smoothie, Hutch, all could very easily have been in Q3 shootout if things just went a little bit differently here in qualifying too. But again, a relatively calm Q2, but definitely an interesting one to say the least. And here we are, we're now beginning to load up Q3. Very, very quick turnover. Beard Boost is going to be the first driver out here in Q3. He wants to immediately put his knees over the entire field and just suffocate them. Suffocate any chance and hope they have of taking pole from him. He obviously wants to dominate this race like he has been dominating pretty much the entirety of X2 this year. A little bit behind him is XRL Low in the Williams. He's going around now. Got a little bit clean track ahead of him, and now Hazel, the only Renault to have made it into Q3. He's the one behind XRL Low here. Everyone's already exited the pit lane now, with Joe Pelli exiting pit lane now. Everyone has now exited the pit lane. And still a lot of clean, relatively clean track around, so I don't imagine there's going to be too much of an issue when it comes down to trying to find clean track. It's just like it was in Q1. It's all going to be about staying clean and within the track limits today here. Beard Boost is now beginning his first lap, followed by Hazel. Then after him, it's going to be XRL Low, who is now beginning his own flying lap. After that, you have Sasha Andre. He is now beginning his flying lap. And already, CJ Allen has invalidated what will be his first lap, I imagine. Oh, and who is that? That was one of the Ferraris on the straight. I think, yes, that is. Deadyer 1988 tapped the wall of champions there, and it's damaged the right front of that wing. The end plate's been taken off. So that's going to definitely hurt him a little bit. And in fact, it looks like this entire lap of his is invalidated. So already we're seeing the issue with getting good laps invalidated. Beard Boost has an invalid lap as well. So Beard Boost is going to have to wait a little bit to put down a lap time. So that means I think it's going to be Hazel who will probably be the first driver to put a lap time down as he rounds the hairpin here. See the front wing on that. Oh, he ruined it. He invalidated it as well. So now it comes down to XRL Low. Low will be the first driver to set a lap time. 110.036, immediately topped by Sasha Andre in a 109.071. And then Ryan Hurricane goes to second, 109.883. But Flying Wallaby is coming behind Ollie, and Wallaby will set a time right to the top, 108.904. We're back to seeing the 108 time frames right now. Here's Beard Boost. He's entering the hairpin. He's got a clean lap for now. He might be able to take the fight directly to Flying Wallaby and steal pole from him. Coming out of the line, will Beard Boost go to the top? No, only third, 109.213. Not characteristic of Beard Boost. Normally we see him running at the very front, or close to the front at least. Here's XRL Ollie. Sorry, go ahead. XRL Ollie has set down his lap of a 109.349. So right now, everyone seems to be gathered in the 109 range, or just a little bit outside of it. Flying Wallaby is about 10th in front of it. Low is about 36 thousandths outside of it. So relatively close. Not as close as we saw up front in Q2, but it's definitely a little bit closer here right now, as Hazel is now exiting the pits. He is going to try and begin his outlap. Dedger as well has begun his outlap. He is running down that final straightaway. CJ Allen has yet to leave the pit lane, and he needs to honestly try it sooner rather than later. There's only 6.5 minutes left in the session here. XRLO is on another outlap. He is going to try and improve on his time, as will Sasha Andri. And now we see one of the Scuderia Ferraris coming out. They're coming in. That is CJ Allen. So CJ Allen comes back into the pits. So Allen not able to make anything happen yet, it appears. That was all you came into the pits. I'm screwed up. That was all you came into the pits. Never mind. Dedger is on a lap right now. Yeah, like you said, it's invalidated, so he's gonna have to go another lap here. It's not going well for him whatsoever. Yeah, it's very rare to see drivers still struggling to put a time down here when we are halfway through a session. That happens sometimes in Q1, but in Q3, that's a rarity. Normally by now, the full-on shootout is gone, and it's just very unique, to say the least. And then, like, even experienced, very fast drivers like Beard Boost struggling with the track limits. This could be one of those events where we don't really know the finish of the race until afterwards, simply because we'll have to tally up all the penalties awarded post-race. CJ Allen has now begun his flying lap. Hazel invalidates another lap, so Hazel needs to get this thing going now. There's less than 5 minutes in the session. And the sky is turning very dark and gray. Potential rain clouds moving in. I'd be interested to see if that ends up coming down during the race itself. And that's XRL Low. Low has gone all the way off the circuit there in the hairpin. And he's going to merge back onto the circuit nice and carefully when no one else is around. But I'm not sure if he just gave up because it's like he couldn't improve, or if he blew the corner or what. Because this was a flying lap for him, but it's definitely not flying now, that's for sure. Dedger, another invalid lap for Dedger. Hazel's got a clean lap this time. It's a second circuit on these tires. Well, third, actually. So, third? Yeah, third, actually. So, we'll be interested to see if he can finally put that time down. Really, really close to cutting it on the inside of that final corner. At the line, Hazel finally puts the lap time down, 109.807. Not a very quick lap time as Beard Boost goes to the top. I can't say I'm surprised, because I'm really not. 0.3 of a second over Flying Wallaby. Only 2 drivers are in the 108, and there is rain! There is rain falling on the circuit now! This is going to get crazy. Dedger invalidates another lap. The top 9 have all set lap times. I think Dedger is going to have trouble just trying to set a lap here with less than 3 minutes in this race. Rain falls on the circuit. And I don't think anyone's going to be able to improve on their lap times either. Joe Pelli retiring from the session. Yeah, there's just no way to get any significant speed going this late. With only 2 minutes left, you'd have to totally reconfigure the entire car build and then put on the intermediates. And even then, a rain setup is always going to be slower than a normal setup. The Beard Boost literally got the pull at the last possible moment, pretty much. If he waited much longer, he may have ended up getting caught out in the rain. DRS has been officially disabled, so yes, there will be no more faster lap as Ollie turns it. Ollie spins his car and damages his front wing coming out of the hairpin. Ollie was circling back around, getting ready to just try and bring it into the pits, and putting the power down, exiting the hairpin. The car turned around and went around. Flying Wallaby has swapped to the intermediates, but he's not onto the track yet. I think that swap is kind of a pointless thing, Wallaby, because it doesn't look like anything's going to happen. And the real disappointment, though, is going to be for Dedger, who's already jumped into the pits. He knows that he's not going to get any better than 10th. Why go out there and waste the car? I say that now Flying Wallaby actually is out there, so Flying Wallaby, maybe he's going to try and use this as a test run to just see what the intermediates will handle like if we have rain in the race itself. But almost everyone else is pitting or on their way to pitting. Sasha Andre is still on the track, but he is merging on, and there's damage on Sasha Andre's front wing also, so I wonder what happened there that would have damaged his front wing as well. But Flying Wallaby, already off of the circuit, so Flying Wallaby struggling just to keep the car on the track, even in the intermediates, because those tires are so cold. He's just using this, I imagine, as a kind of a practice session, trying to figure out what the track's going to be like in the wet here. But he is the only car on the circuit here. Everyone else has either retired from the session or is just staying in the pits, not willing to risk it, not willing to push it. And the real disappointing bit is for Dedger, who was not able to set a single lap time at all in the session. And the real lucky one, Beard Boost, saying a 108.602 at the last possible moment, and Wallaby has now retired from the session as well. So now all we would need is... Yep, so Beard Boost and Dedger both retire from the session, so our Q3 session ends much sooner than normally does, but this session has closed and concluded. Qualifying 3 gets rained on, quite literally and metaphorically. Dedger not able to set a single lap time in the Ferrari. His teammate XRL Ollie was able to get in the 5th with a 109.263. XRL is going to start 9th with a 110.036, 109.807 for Hazel, 109.632 for Joe Pelli in 7th. Ryan Hurricane, the Alfa Romeo car, 109.408. And then his teammate, CJ Allen, will be starting 4th with a 109.043. 3rd place will be 108.904 for Flying Wallaby. Sasha Andre in the AlphaTauri will be starting 2nd, 108.892. And Beard Boost in the McLaren will have a 108.602. So it's not raining right at this moment, but the clouds are still nice and dark here. So there is still possible potential for rain in the race itself. And that could really upset the way this race goes, because all these cars are going to be built out to be really, really tightly balanced with a little bit more focus on speed than anything else. Having the wet circuit, you could really see drivers looping it around through the chicanes in the first 2 sectors or around the hairpin that's at the start of Sector 3. It could get really, really chaotic, to say the least, if we end up having rain in the race itself. Mm-hmm. I'm still stuck in the pit road viewing with just the loading symbols by everyone's name, so... No one's gone on the hard compounds. So yes, looks like it's going to be probably a lot of medium to soft and soft to medium strategies, unless someone takes some damage early on in the race, potentially at the start. Big thing is, I don't think anyone's going to be able to touch Beard Booster Sasha Andre. Even though we have 5 drivers in a line, all with softs, they're going to be fighting with each other. And then Ollie, Allen, and Flying Wallaby, just before they can even get to the top 2. I'm going to be honest, I think Beard Boost and Sasha Andre may be locking themselves up for a potential 1-2. Don't know who between the two would have 1-2. But a potential 1-2 between them early on by virtue of everyone behind them being on the same tire compound that's going to have to be fighting temporarily fast drivers. So yeah, this it's going to be, might be a little bit interesting at the front. And here we are, back onto the race. We're going to do one nice quick warm-up lap so that way everyone gets a chance to warm up their tires. Final decision for the back 6 drivers, all mediums. So yeah, there's only 7 guys who are running softs. Minea Sasha is the really interesting one. He's the only medium in a sea of softs. That will be very, very interesting to watch what he is or isn't able to do. Now, 11th spot just got knocked out of Q2 a little bit too late to really do anything to respond. So, and the other big thing is going to be watching the rain. It's definitely nice and dark in the sky. It honestly reminds me a lot of back home in Kansas, how the sky would start getting in the mid to late afternoon before a thunderstorm would roll in. Don't think we're going to have actual thunder or lightning or anything, but rain definitely on the cards for a possibility here at Montreal. Alright, everyone's lined up. Engine's ready to go. Here we are. And it's lights out and away we go here at Circuit de Villeneuve. On the rundown already, they're 4 wide there in the farther back sections of the field. 4 wide nearly going into turn number 1. But looks like everyone's going to keep it relatively clean. Minea Sasha falls all the way down to 14, gets into the dirt, and might even lose even more positions. So those medium tire compounds did not work out for him. But the big thing here is Beard Boost is second, and it's Zola. Well, the game says it's Zola who's in front, but that's not possible because Zola's down 16th. And now everything's acting weird. Here we are. Sasha Andre is the driver in front of Beard Boost here. But look at this pack of cars. Beard Boost and Flying Wallaby fighting neck and neck going through the chicane here. Beard Boost is now going to fall to third. He's under threat now from CJ Allen. The 2 Ferraris are back there fighting. Here we are. Run down to the hairpin. Beard Boost on the inside and CJ Allen on the outside. Beard Boost is trapped behind the racing point, and now he's gonna fall back to 4th position. Very uncharacteristic of Beard Boost. He's now fallen to 4th despite starting on the front row. Sasha Andre needs to do everything he can to start moving up. Also, the biggest mover, Joe Pelly, is now up to 5th on those soft tire compounds. Otherwise, no one else in the softs really were able to migrate forward or back too much. And there we are. It's XRL Ollie fighting with Joe Pelly neck and neck, and around the outside, Ollie is trying to make the outside line work coming out of turn 2. He gets the power down. It's a little bit longer lines. It has a little bit more straightaway speed, but they have almost the same engine. They're still side by side as they go to the chicane. Now we're going to enter the back straightaway. No DRS has been enabled yet, so it's all going to be a little bit of contact there, and Joe Pelly has to give up the spot to Ollie, and that means he's going to be under threat from Dedger right behind him. Having a little bit of problems as well. He just lost, it looked like 2 positions. He has fallen back to the 11th spot. So just outside of the points paying positions right now. I would imagine DRS will probably open in the next lap here, and we could be looking at some DRS trains a little bit farther back here, because the back half of the field and a good portion of the front half haven't really separated from each other all that much. Anderson already penalty, 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So it looks like indeed we'll be looking at another race with lots and lots of time penalties. DRS has been enabled, and the interesting thing is going to be watching Alan Wallaby and Sasha Andre. They're all on top of each other, the top 3 at the moment. They can all utilize DRS on each other when they come onto the back straightaway here. CJ Allen is right under the rear wing of Flying Wallaby going to the chicane. They're definitely going to both have DRS on each other, and they might be able to run down Sasha Andre just a little bit. Zola, 3-second time penalty. I'm not even going to bother reading off all the 3-second time penalties for track violations, because I have a feeling it's going to be like the X3 race where there's just so many of them that you can't keep track of them. I will still call out pit lane speed violations, but yeah. Looked for a moment on Flying Wallaby, but he wasn't able to make anything happen there. A little bit farther back, Phantom and Fiend at the very back end of the field are in their own little nice little fight. Both have DRS open on each other, and Phantom for the moment ahead of Fiend, as it looks like Fiend is going to jump right into the pits. And Hazel as well is going to jump into the pits, so already we have drivers jumping onto alternate tire strategies, definitely trying to make things happen here. But yeah, we've got a few DRS trains going, as you said, so... Oh, wow! Minea Sasha almost on the outside wall there in the first sector. Here they go, round the corners. Now they're going to enter the back straightaway. Look at this. We're going to be looking at about 9 cars, all with DRS open on top of each other. Down the line, it's a truly train all over again. Just instead of it being Jarno truly keeping everyone together, it's DRS. Ryan Hurricane is really in the difficult spot right now because he's just far enough away from the drivers ahead that he probably won't be able to utilize DRS. I take that back. He is able to utilize DRS. In fact, it's actually Dedger ahead of him who's not able to utilize DRS. Dedger is just barely staying ahead of XRL Hutch, who does have DRS behind him. This will be really interesting as we see somebody almost slap the wall there, coming through the wall of champions. Meanwhile, farther back up, CJ Allen and Flying Wallaby, both about 4/10 away from each other, and Flying Wallaby is only about 7/10 away from Sasha Andre at the moment. Oh, he's making the move! He's making the move, going into the chicane, and they both run off! They both run wide! Allen pushes Wallaby wide, but he will take the spot. But both of them went off. He will move right over and immediately give the position right back to Flying Wallaby. Everyone knows that was no good. He knew it was no good. He was not going to take advantage of a pass that was not legal in any way. Good driving, good sportsmanship from him. But that doesn't change the fact that he's still third behind Flying Wallaby, and now the two of them have lost Sasha Andre. Oh, they made contact through the wall of champions. And now Beard Boost is catching up to them. In fact, he's not catching up to them. He's there. He's with them. He's making a move to the inside of CJ Allen. He thinks better of it, pulls out at the last second. He still has XRL only behind him. He can't afford to be making any stupid moves, or he might end up losing the position of fourth. Ooh, CJ Allen briefly touches the grass there. Starting to come out, and the clouds are starting to go away, so it looks like we may have it truly be dry to the end here. Meanwhile, a little bit farther back in the field, here's XRL Hutch. He is the DRS list car, leading a train of cars, all going full bore, chasing him down that long final straightaway. No one's able to make a move on him yet, though. He's fast enough through the slower sections that he's able to maintain his advantage over the drivers behind him. Smoothie 25 has gone ahead and made his pit. Ooh, Wisehuter and James John having a little bit of a scuffle there for 12th and 13th position. Manea Sasha right there in 14th wants to make something happen, but there's really no room for him to put his car at the moment. Uter is now ahead of James John, so move Wisehuter up into the 12th spot. It's a 1.3 second gap between CJ Allen and Sasha Andre. Andre did not pull away nearly as far as I thought he would have. In fact, if anything, it looks like CJ Allen is riding him down and riding him down fast. The gap is already less than a second as they enter turn 1 here. See the right wing plate on the front wing has been knocked off of Hurricane's car as he has fallen all the way back into 16th position. Manea Sasha has now found himself back into 11th between drivers having incidents and drivers pitting. Still not in the points paying positions yet though. XRL Low has lost his position to XRL Hutch, and now it's putting him under threat from XRL Anderson as they go around the hairpin. And Ollie has gotten by Beard Boost, so Beard Boost is struggling to get back into the top positions. Granted, Beard Boost has a massive advantage in the points, but he's the pole-setting driver, and he's fallen all the way to 5th. He just can't seem to make it work. When it comes to positions, he's not able to defend very well in the DRS zones at all. I mean, granted, it's kind of hard to defend against DRS zones, but he's struggling more than normal. It's a very, very strange thing to see, to say the least. But meanwhile, Sasha Andre has lost his position in the lead to CJ Allen, and now CJ Allen opening up a little bit of a gap on Sasha, or at least he's anticipating he will open a gap. Sasha has a DRS zone here on the back straightaway, closes it back down to a 0.4 of a second gap. Now on the run down into the hairpin zone, this might be where Allen's able to open up the gap and walk away from Sasha Andre here. Of note, Joe Pelli is the only driver on track who is still on the soft tire compounds. Everyone else has moved to mediums, with the exception of XRL Fiend, who is on the hards. So, make of that what you will. CJ Allen just got a 3-second time penalty for track violations, but despite that, he's still breezing away from Sasha Andre right now. Two Williams, a Smoothie 25 and XRL Low are running with each other. They are going through the chicane right before the back straightaway, but they're not really around anyone else. Dedgar is about 2.5 seconds off from the back of Low, but not really close enough to really do anything with them. So those two kind of running their own race right now, as all of the DRS trains seem to have pretty much broken up at this point. There is a bit of a gaggle with Hazel and Jailbin, and then about 2 seconds up from them, you have Phantom, Davis Don, and Zola all fighting. Sasha Andre has just lost the position to Flying Wallaby. He's not taking it laying down, though. He's fighting very physically. Pushes Flying Wallaby a little bit wide. They're still going to be side by side, though, as they're taking the run down into turn 3. Sasha Andre is going to be behind Flying Wallaby. And now it's XRL Ollie who is finding himself up in this mix. It's a 3-way battle for a second position right now. Sasha Andre and Flying Wallaby side by side again. They're going to be 3. No, they're not. XRL Ollie gets sideways and smashes the inside wall. He's going to lose part of his front wing in the process. But Andre and Wallaby are still fighting. They're still neck and neck on each other. They're now hanging on the run down into the hairpin, but Ollie has damaged the front wing on that car, and I don't know if he's going to be able to contain. Here comes Beard Boost. He makes a dive bomb on Ollie at the last minute. They make contact, and now Beard Boost and Ollie are going to have to fight down the line here. Yep, that's exactly what he's doing. But meanwhile, the battle for second is still heating up. Flying Wallaby and Sasha Andre are still right on top of each other. Flying Wallaby has DRS open ahead of Sasha because he was able to get by him going through the Wall of Champions. But it doesn't matter because Sasha is still right there behind Wallaby. These two aren't done fighting. And the more and more they fight, the happier and happier Beard Boost gets because that gives him a greater chance to get up into second. His pit stop. He's now though that means he's plummeted to 19th. Everyone in the top 12 are all running mediums. Everyone in the top 9 are running mediums that they started the race on right now. Sasha Andre and Beard Boost are now in a DRS seeing each other, both trying to run down Flying Wallaby. And it looks like Sasha Andre and Flying Wallaby will both pit, so now Beard Boost has nothing but pure clean track ahead of him, and he got the benefit of being close enough that he still had the DRS zone going down. Front straightaway, there's 6.3 seconds between himself and CJ Allen. Will Beard Boost be able to start turning his race around and try to convert his pole into a win? Jesus Christ, the line of incidents. I'm looking real quick at the line of incidents. Christ, that's a massive line. The interesting part is going to be, and that's one of the, I saw someone run wide there. Hazel is now going to move up ahead of Zola. It was Zola who ran wide for the hairpin, and now Zola is being swarmed by just about everyone. There's only so much track there, guys, on that outside. It's going to be really difficult getting by there. You're almost 3 wide heading to the wall of champions, but it's alleviated by 2 of the drivers jumping into the pits. But wow, that got really, really crazy, really fast. And now Flying Wallaby finds himself back in the second because our leader has gone ahead and pitted. So CJ Allen is going to pit. Beard Boost goes in the lead, and he has 13.8 seconds over Flying Wallaby. Sasha Andre is fighting with CJ Allen. He's just behind CJ Allen at the moment, actually. And behind him, Joe Pelly and XRL Ollie are now in their own little scuffle. Not able to hold him off though. Ollie made it stick, moved Ollie up into the 5th position. But the real question is going to be now, how long will Beard Boost stay out in those medium tire compounds? He has 13 laps on them right now, and the gap between himself and Flying Wallaby is about 12.3 seconds. So when will Beard Boost pit? Now. He is pitting now. So will Flying Wallaby be able to get ahead of Beard Boost? That's going to be the question. He flies hardcore through the hairpin at the Wall of Champions, and he will easily clear Beard Boost. The only thing is, Beard Boost is going down the hard tire compound, so Beard Boost is anticipating staying with these tires for the rest of the race, actually. But Beard Boost has fallen all the way to 4th, and he's going to be cold tires, going to be fighting with XRL Ollie right behind him, so, this could work, though, for Beard Boost. He's only got on hards, though. He might be able to make it work. He can push pretty much hardcore for almost the rest of the race. And the 2 guys he spent a lot of time having to get by, Flying Wallaby and CJ Allen, they're on softs. They will have to pit again. So this may have just fallen into Beard Boost's hands by virtue of just guaranteeing a one-stop strategy. Assuming nothing happens to him, obviously. Saw that happen in the X3 race, where one of the Alfa Romeos was out there with a 20-second lead and lost almost all of it in the last 5 laps, with the racing points closing in 2 seconds or more per lap. XRL Ollie is just kind of hanging out behind Beard Boost right now. It doesn't look like he's really trying to do anything at the moment to him. Beard Boost has caught the rear end of Sasha Andre, but that speaks more to the fact that Sasha Andre has fallen off the back of CJ Allen. CJ Allen is trying to run down Flying Wallaby. the gap between Andre and Allen is nearly 3 whole seconds at the moment. So XRL Fiend is in between those two cars. He is the only car currently 1 lap down, as we are on the 17th lap of the race. But what there have been has been a lot of track violations and people trying to knock down the walls. So, at least when it comes to knocking down walls, I wouldn't put the idea of no safety cars completely out of my mind yet. Manea Sasha now has a time penalty, so Sasha just struggling from Q2 all the way to now. He's only 12th at the moment. Hold off XRL Zola behind him, and ahead of Hurricane is BRL Phantom. He's about 7/10 of a second up the road, but Phantom is on soft tire compounds that have 6 laps on them. Hurricane has 8 lap worn mediums. This battle will naturally go in favor of Hurricane the longer and longer they stay out. Seems to be very content right now to just run within DRS zone of Sasha Andre, but not really trying to do anything to him. The only thing is, as that's happening, the gap between Sasha and the leader is still about 4 seconds. Granted, as I said earlier, the two leaders are both running soft tire compounds, and there is actually a little bit of a fight going on between them, so they will be burning them down, but I don't know, if I was Beard Boost, I would personally rather have the clean track myself. That way I wouldn't have to worry about the aero wake from the car in front of me screwing me over going through the corners. But Beard Boost must be relatively confident in the way this race is going to fall right now. Beard Boost may be in a scenario where when he saw the rain coming, he may have adapted. They may have adapted the car to be better suited for a potential rain race, but now it doesn't seem like that's the situation. It's nice and sunny again, so it might have been a poor decision on setup, but he's still 4th, and if he can make something out of that, it would definitely be impressive. He is gradually falling off the back of our 2 leaders, though. But again, our 2 leaders, they now have 6 and 7 laps on their soft tire compounds. They're going to have to come in and pit, probably throw on some mediums in about the next 1 to 5 laps, I'd say. Ryan Hurricane has officially gone around BRL Phantom right now. In fact, right now, Phantom is trying to hold off XRL Zola. He will stay out another lap on heavily worn softs. He is now starting his 9th lap on these soft tire compounds. So really pushing hard, trying to make something happen there. Same thing with Ollie. Ollie earlier was right on Beard Boost's rear end, but now he's on his 8th lap on his softs. He's falling off the back of Beard Boost's car as well. Also, XRL Hutch and XRL Anderson both are on hard tire compounds. They will more than likely run those to the end of the race. Hutch and Anderson are running within 2 seconds of each other, but they're both within about 10 seconds of 10 to 12 seconds of JL been ahead of them, so, and several other guys, so they might be able to capitalize on that. and turn that into maybe not point pain positions, but at least getting higher up in the order because the drivers ahead of them will more than likely have to pit again. And it says that CJ Allen has gone ahead. He has made his pit stop, so now Flying Wallaby out there on his own. Now the interesting part is CJ Allen pitted. It's only 6 laps on his soft. Flying Wallaby is now on his 8th lap on these soft tires. But I imagine he's going to have to respond and overcut now. Well, not overcut, but he's going to have to respond sooner rather than later to CJ Allen. But Allen falls all the way back to 10th in the pit cycle now. He's not going to gain a whole lot either, although he's cutting turn 1. He's not going to gain, so he's fallen all the way to the very end of the points pain positions right now. And the gap between himself and Beard Boost is roughly 17 seconds. So yeah, he may need Beard Boost to pit. It's possible. And they're swapping him onto the medium tire compound, so he will more likely try to run these last 13 laps on them. Wallaby is fallen all the way to 6th by the looks of it. It says he's 8th, but he will probably get back ahead of at least one of those guys by virtue of cutting turn 1. Yep, so here he is 6th right now. So yeah, more than likely CJ Allen had to pay penalties when he pitted. Flying Wallaby does not have to worry about it, but the difference though is that Flying Wallaby is still 11 seconds and some change out from Beard Boost. And Beard Boost on the hards, he can just run on the hards with no problem for the rest of the race. The big thing though is that Beard Boost lacking speed on the straightaways. He's staying in DRS zone of Sasha Andre, not attacking Sasha Andre, just staying within DRS zone of him though. He's using that to make up for his lack of speed on the straights, but Sasha Andre, I imagine, will have to pit sooner rather than later. And then if Sasha Andre doesn't have to pit, though, Beard Boost needs to figure out some way around him. But again, I think it's more likely that Sasha Andre will have to pit. He's going to be starting his 10th lap on medium tires when we still have 12 more laps to go in this race here. Little battle has formed, and now it looks like it's concluded between XRL Low and Wise Uter. The worn tires, 14 laps on Low, is starting to make the car slip away from him as Uter cruised by him going through the Wall of Champions section. So Uter moved him up into the 4th position. Low slopped him down into 5th. And about 3 seconds off from Low is Flying Wallaby, cruising by himself, no one around him, which means that he has great fast pace in the straight, and not in the straights, in the corners, but he really would probably rather have some DRS help in the straights right now, considering this is a straight line speed focus. Not fully straight line speed focus circuit, it's not quite Spa or Monza, but it does have a massive focus on straight line. Looking at Ollie's car, all the parts and pieces are still on it. Well, he's been 11 laps on this set of tires, so I don't think it would be that. Not sure, but either way, that will definitely work out in favor of Hazel, who is on hard tire compounds and will run those to the end of the race. Ollie will more than likely have to pit again. JL Bend and BRL Phantom have had an incident in the hairpin. Both of them have gone off, and Phantom has fallen all the way to 17. JL Bend has fallen to 15. Both of them have damage on their front wings here. I think JL Bend, who was pushing those softs way too hard, 11 laps on them, he more than likely may have had an incident while going side by side with Phantom into the hairpin, and it's going to bring it in to any chance of JL Bend fighting for points. Same with BRL Phantom. Both of them are going to have to come in to get wings fixed. DRS has been re-enabled now, though, so a very, very brief virtual safety car, to say the least. XRL Low has lost his position to Javis John, though, so Low is now struggling on these fresh tires. He is on 8th position right now. Jabaston and XRL Low still having their own little fight down the straightaway here. Now Low looks to the inside of Jabaston. He will make that overtake with some DRS assist going into turn 1. Jabaston still following him there through turn 2, and now the run down to turn 3. No move yet. In fact, if anything, it looks like Low was able to open up a little bit of a gap on Jabas. Manea Sasha has now found himself up into the 10th position. He has 11 lap worn mediums, and he has to go another 10 laps on them. I'm not sure if I'd feel comfortable going 21 laps on mediums. He may have no choice, but worst case, he may also have to pit. I don't think he's going to maintain that position. And Beard Boost has now moved ahead of Sasha Andre. So this is going to be interesting because he does not have the straight line speed, but he definitely has the ability in the corners, it seems. I'll be curious to see if Sasha Andre will be able to do anything to fight back. And something has happened to BRL Phantom. He has DNF'd. I can't tell where it is on the track, but I wonder if Phantom. I think Phantom has retired in the pits. So rough day for him. Probably going to throw on some, I would imagine at least, he'll throw on some softs to try and run to the end of the race. But Beard Boost running a one-stop strategy has put him significantly ahead of his two biggest rivals on the track, Flying Wallaby and CJ Allen. He is 5.3 seconds ahead of Flying Wallaby. And although Flying Wallaby has fresher tires, they're only mediums. So right about now, they're still going to be in a good operating range. But in 7 laps time, I wouldn't be so sure about that. Sasha Andre is going to come out, he'll be 5th. And like I said earlier, Manesi Sasha was going to have to pit again. He has made his stop. He has now fallen to 15th on the track. It looks like he's going to be around the same place on the track as his teammate Hazel. Difference though is that Sasha is going to be on softs, and he's going to try and make the softs last these final 8 laps, which can definitely be done, but it will definitely be a pain to do. Flying Wallaby has caught Joe Pelly as those tires are starting to wear away on him. And CJ Allen has caught Flying Wallaby as well. The gap between first and third is 3.8 seconds right now. So, yeah, for now, Flying Wallaby is running down Beard Boost, but Beard Boost will have the tires in a working operating range for longer, but he also has less straight line speed compared to Flying Wallaby and CJ Allen. And again, this is a relatively balanced track, but has more of a focus on straight line speed than cornering speed. So, I'm not saying it will happen, I'm not saying it won't happen, it's too early to say, but there could be a battle for the lead still. And even if that doesn't happen, CJ Allen has caught Wallaby, those two fought earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if we still saw a battle for second if the two of them realize, yeah, we can't catch Beard Boost. way farther back in the field, though. Zola has gotten by Hazel, and he is now trying to work on Sasha right now. Both of them are on the soft tire compound. Zola's just a little bit fresher, and he gets a 3-second time penalty trying to run him down. This is pushed a little bit too wide through one of the chicanes here. Really hard under braking, and actually ends up compromising his mid-corner speed in the hairpin. Meanwhile, a little bit farther up, Hurricane makes a DRS-assisted overtake over Hush for the 11th position, but neither of them are close enough to really fight for Davis John in 10th, who is currently last of the points-paying position drivers at the moment. Also, Sasha Andre and Wise Uter have found each other, the AlphaTauris, so that will be interesting to see. Here we are, going down that final straightaway. Flying Wallaby is going to cruise by CJ Allen with no real issue. It's a DRS-assisted overtake, so I'm not 100% sure, because there didn't seem to be any really defense going on, and they're actually still closing on Beard Boost. I wonder if they'll just swap every lap going down the long final straightaway, just so they don't end up compromising time right behind each other. Right now, CJ Allen's time to Beard Boost is 2.5 seconds. JL Ben has gone off the circuit, and he's spin around. Oh, almost spins around. But he went off the circuit there in Sector 2, came to a complete stop, so that way the leaders could get by him without issue. He is now lapped down along with XRL Fiend. Right now I'm looking at the fastest lap time. Fastest lap for CJ Allen has been a 111.101. Fastest lap for Beard Boost is a 112.418. So if CJ Allen can be putting down times comparable to his fastest lap, he would be able to run down Beard Boost if Beard Boost was at its best. There is enough time for it. However, those tires are going to start falling away gradually for CJ Allen compared to Beard Boost here. JL Ben has retired from the session. I believe he has totaled that car actually there in one of the corners. Yes, he has. Yeah, he has totaled that car in turn 3. He is off the circuit though. I imagine the game will remove him from the race shortly. CJ Allen is also topping out on the straights. I'm riding on board CJ Allen, and he is still topping out on the straights trying to run down Beard Boost. The gap between first and second, 1.4 seconds at the moment. Roughly 3.5 laps to go. Right on board CJ Allen, the gap on track is roughly a second between first and second, but the gap when it comes to penalties might go all over the place here. Interesting to know is that Flying Wallaby has actually gradually lost touch with Allen as this has gone on. Now, probably go if Allen catches Beard Boost, which it looks like he's going to very shortly. The two of them battling will probably let Flying Wallaby close in a little bit. But it is interesting to see that Flying Wallaby seems to have dropped off and lost a little bit of pace here in this final quarter of the race here. At the line, it is now 3 laps to go. And yes, CJ Allen has caught Beard Boost. Can he get by and around him, though, and then open up enough of a gap to negate any penalties he has? That's going to be the question. it could definitely happen. There is a thing called the hairpin where if you get caught on the outside through there, it can really, really harm your ability. Although to be fair, you're also going to have the DRS zone, I guess, to kind of make that back up. Ooh! Alan briefly touches the grass. He's just 3/10 behind Beard Boost here. Trying to make something happen, trying to make something happen fast. Puts that front wing right under Beard Boost's rear wing. He's got DRS open. I imagine he'll fly by him now if he can. Side by side, not anymore. Beard Boost going to fall right back in line behind Alan, but Alan did not have the greatest exit through there. DRS is open for both of them, and like I said, Wallaby is now right there in it as well. So CJ Allen now takes the race lead, but again, and one of the Ferraris, that's Ollie, was sideways right ahead of him. Ollie spun it around there in turn 2, right in front of the leaders. That had to give them all a little bit of a heart attack. Wow, okay. Flying Wallaby has now caught Beard Boost. Now, is he going to be able to do anything to Beard Boost, though? And then use that to leapfrog and potentially do something to CJ Allen. Again, there's only a lap and a half left, so if he's going to do it, he has to make those moves really, really fast. But it could be done. I'm not saying it can't be done. It could absolutely be done. And he will have DRS over both of the drivers ahead of him. Beard Boost will have DRS, but again, the engine doesn't seem to be putting down all the power that it can. He's got DRS, but he's about 6/10 off of Beard Boost. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. I think this is just going to be a matter of Beard Boost is going to win because he's going to stay within DRS zone of CJ Allen. Allen cannot get away from Beard Boost in the corners enough to pull away on the straights. Yeah, he made a move, but wasn't able to make it stick. He's still there. He's fighting hard. He wants to be ahead of him. This is enabling CJ Allen to start opening up a little bit of a gap here. Wallaby made a mistake, though. Here he is. Is he close enough to use the DRS and close back into Beard Boost? Yes, he is. You can hear the DRS open. 7/10 of a second gap, now down to 6/10. He needs to keep around that gap if he wants to make the DRS-assisted overtake down the straight. He's 5/10 out now as they go into the hairpin. Both of the drivers very, very smooth through it. Flying Wallaby 6/10 out from Beard Boost. He's going to have DRS assist. He's 7/10 out. He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna be able to do it. I think he'll close right back into Beard Boost's rear bumper, but I don't think he's gonna be able to make anything happen unless Beard Boost makes a mistake. So at the front, CJ Allen is going to go ahead and cross the line in first, but Beard Boost is gonna cross the line, and by virtue of having fewer penalties, Beard Boost wins another race and will continue to extend his domination in the series. Flying Wallaby will finish third, and Flying Wallaby actually falls all the way down to fifth. Flying Wallaby falls down to 6th, as CJ Allen, Sasha Andre, and Joe Pelli are all credited being ahead of him. XRL is going to come home 7th, and Smoothie 25 is now coming down. He's in 8th position. Will he be able to hold on to it? I believe he will. Davis John is in a fight with Dedger and Ryan Hurricane, so as Smoothie is going to go ahead and cross the line, Davis John crosses ahead of Dedger, and Dedger is going to be well ahead of Ryan Hurricane by about 5 seconds. XRL Hut, he's going to be one of the other drivers who makes the hard tire compound last to the end. He will be coming down to 12th position. Sadly, though, no points for him. XRL Zola is going to come down to 13th spot. Behind him, Minea Sasha is actually going to overtake him by virtue of having fewer penalties. And here's XRL Anderson, who will be the last driver to circle the track. But in the end, it's going to be it's going to be Beard Boost who wins another race. Wasn't the easiest race to win. It was definitely took some calculated gambles. But he wins the event here at Canada. I will say this. Yes, there were some obvious blatant track violations, but I personally think this race was kind of hampered a little bit because of all the track penalties. I do think the track penalties might be just a little bit too strict from the game. Just saying. But Christ, yeah, flying wallaby, 15 seconds worth of penalty. CJ Allen, 15 seconds worth of penalty. Christ alive. Smoothie is the only guy with no penalties. He finished 8th with that. Oh, wow. Oh. That was a nutty race. I would say personally, I think Smoothie 25 should get driver of the day simply by virtue of not having any penalties at the end. That's considering literally everyone else had a penalty. I think he kind of deserves that. But yeah, like you said, Wise Uter and to an extent Sasha Andre, great job bringing their cars home 2nd and 4th in the end, and the AlphaTauris by virtue of just minimizing their number of penalties overall. Excuse me. Well, our race has now come to a close here with X2 here at Monaco. At Montreal. So, definitely an interesting race. A really calm race also, though. We only saw 2 DNFs, although we definitely saw some tight moments, like Ollie spinning right in front of our top 3 in the last 5 laps. That was a little bit nuts. But, yeah, definitely a very, very interesting, calm race. Beard Boost, another victory, continuing his domination in the X2, but this wasn't some typical domination. He definitely ended up in some rough situations, and really I'd say he won primarily off the basis of just being able to really abuse and utilize the DRS zone more than anyone else could. So good job to him. And Boothie, I just want to say thank you very much for being here in the lobby with me. You definitely were able to catch a bunch of things that I would have missed in the race, so... But anyways, I think the biggest thing, there's not really even 3 things to really take away from this. I think the single thing to take away is just track limit violations were really, really excessive. It would be one thing if, like, one guy had 7 track violations, or you had everyone with, like, 1 violation or something like that. But we saw both today. It honestly leads me to think more that maybe just the game might be a little bit too strict with that. But despite that, the drivers put their best foot forward and actually put on a really, really good show beyond that. But do you have anything else to say before we start wrapping up our broadcast here? Alright, well, I've been Insane Leader 13, joined here with Boothy116. We've been bringing to you XRL X2 here at Canada. In a week's time, X2 will be back on the same channel. I don't know if I'll be there, probably not, but I might be there. Boothie will more than likely be there, so you can look forward to hearing his British accent again. But until next time, sayonara, farewell, whatever you want to say. Have a good time, and once more, congratulations to our winner, Beard Boost.